What if everything you've been told about death is wrong? What if your last breath isn't an end but a transformation? You've heard the cliches, lights, tunnels, meeting loved ones. But what do those who've actually died and come back swear they experienced? And what does cutting-edge science say about the final moments of consciousness? This isn't speculation, this is evidence. And it might change how you live starting today. So let's walk together to the very edge of existence and peer beyond. First, what happens to your body in the hours before death? Your circulation slows, blood pools in your core, abandoning your hands and feet. Your skin turns mottled blotchy purple and gray as oxygen fades from your tissues. Breathing becomes erratic, long pauses, then gasps known as agonal respiration. To an outsider, it looks like suffering, but inside, you may feel nothing at all. Pain receptors shut down first, the brain floods with natural opioids, endorphins, dynorphins. In many cases, dying isn't painful. It's peaceful, like drifting into deep sleep. But here's where it gets strange. Your brain may not shut down the way we thought. Could you still be aware even after your heart stops? In 2013, neurologists at the University of Michigan induced cardiac arrest in rats. What they discovered shocked the scientific community. Within 30 seconds of clinical death, the rats' brains erupted in gamma-wave activity. Gamma waves are linked to high-level consciousness, memory recall, perception, even dreaming. It was as if, in their final moments, their entire lives flashed before them. But rats aren't humans, so does this happen to us? Enter Dr. Sam Parnia, critical care physician and director of resuscitation research at NYU. For over 15 years, he's led the AWARE studies AWARE-I, AWARE-2, and now AWARE-3. His mission, to test whether consciousness persists after the heart stops. How? By placing hidden images on high shelves and ceilings in hospital resuscitation rooms. If a patient truly floats during cardiac arrest, they should see these images. In AWARE-I, over 2,000 cardiac arrests were monitored across 15 hospitals. 18% reported some form of awareness during resuscitation. But only one man gave a verifiable account. He described the room, the sounds of the defibrillator, even the nurse's blue shoes. He was clinically dead for 3 minutes, no pulse, no brain activity on EEG. Yet he recalled details with 100% accuracy, but he didn't see the hidden image. Why? Dr. Parnia suggests, maybe out-of-body experiences aren't visual. Maybe consciousness isn't floating, it's something far more profound. So, what do people actually experience when they die? Let's listen to real witnesses. Take Anita Moorjani, diagnosed with terminal cancer. She fell into a coma in 2006. Doctors said she had hours to live. Her organs were failing. She was clinically dead for 30 hours. But she returned cancer-free within weeks. She described a realm of pure love and understanding. I realized I was more than my body, she said. I was energy. I was consciousness. Then there's Dr. Eben Alexander, a Harvard neurosurgeon. In 2008, he contracted bacterial meningitis. His neocortex, the seat of thought, shut down completely. He was in a coma for 7 days. Doctors gave him a 10% chance to live and 0 chance of recovery. Yet he experienced a journey through a core realm guided by a beautiful woman on a butterfly wing. He insists, this wasn't a hallucination, my brain was offline, this was real. But skeptics say it's just oxygen deprivation, the brain misfires. So, why do people across cultures, religions, and eras report nearly identical experiences? A 2020 meta-analysis in the journal Resuscitation reviewed 567 cardiac arrest survivors. 40% reported awareness during clinical death. 20% described moving toward a light. 18% felt overwhelming peace. 12% encountered deceased relatives. And 8% experienced judgment reviewing their life in an instant. These aren't random dreams, they follow a pattern, a structure. Which leads to a terrifying question: what if death isn't random but meaningful? Consider the case of Pam Reynolds, the most medically documented NDE in history. In 1991, she underwent a rare standstill brain surgery to remove a giant aneurysm. Her body was cooled to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Her heart and brain activity were completely stopped. EEG flatlined, blood drained from her head. She was, by all definitions, dead. Yet she later described the surgical saw on an electric toothbrush with a dent in it. She heard the doctors say her arteries are like macaroni, and she saw her grandmother. How? Her ears were blocked with speakers emitting 100 decibel clicks to monitor brainstem. She shouldn't have heard a thing, yet her account was 100% accurate. Dr. Robert Spetzler, her surgeon, admitted, "I can't explain it." But not all near-death experiences are peaceful. Dr. Bruce Greyson, the father of NDE research, documented distressing NDS. Some people report being trapped in darkness. Others hear screams, some feel eternal isolation. One man said, "I was in a void with no time, no space, just pure terror." Why the difference? Greyson found a link: unresolved trauma, guilt, or fear of death. Your inner world may shape your final vision, your death reflects your life. So, what if you could prepare for death while still alive? Now consider this: what about those who never die but still see the other side? Hospice nurses call them deathbed visions, and they're astonishingly common. Studies show 50 to 60% of dying patients report seeing deceased loved ones in the room. They'll say things like, "Mom's here, she's holding my hand." Or, "My brother's waiting for me by the door." Families often weep not from fear but from comfort. Science explains this as cerebral hypoxia, lack of oxygen causing hallucinations. But why do they always see specific people, often ones they didn't know had died? One woman, minutes before death, said, "Tell my son James I'm sorry I never called." Her family was stunned. They hadn't spoken to James in 20 years and didn't know he'd passed away. Coincidence, or something science can't yet measure? Now let's go deeper. What happens after the heart stops? Medically, death is declared when the heart stops and respiration ceases. But biologically, death is a process, not a moment. Your cells don't die instantly. Some remain alive for hours, even days. In 2017, scientists discovered that over 1,000 genes activate after death. Some repair DNA, others trigger inflammation. A few even promote embryonic development. It's as if the body is trying to heal, or perhaps transition. This raises a radical idea. Maybe consciousness doesn't vanish at death. Maybe it lingers in a form we can't yet detect. Enter quantum physics, the Oracle or theory by Sir Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff. They propose that consciousness arises from quantum vibrations in microtubules inside brain cells. When the heart stops, these vibrations don't disappear, they dissipate into the universe. In their words, the soul isn't religious, it's quantum information. Is this fringe science? Maybe. But it's being tested, and it echoes ancient wisdom. Tibetan Buddhists describe the bardo, a 49-day intermediate state after death. During this time, the consciousness reviews its past life and prepares for rebirth. The Egyptian Book of the Dead outlines a journey through 12 gates of the underworld. At the final gate, the heart is weighed against a feather. If it's heavy with sin, it's devoured. Ancient Egyptians weren't alone. The Greeks spoke of the river Styx. Norse mythology described Valhalla, a hall for warriors chosen by Odin. Indigenous tribes across the Americas tell of a spirit road to the ancestors. These aren't just myths, they're maps possibly based on real experiences. Could near-death experiences be glimpses of this universal journey? Now imagine this: you're lying in a hospital bed, your heart is failing. The machines beep slower. Your family holds your hand, tears in their eyes. And then everything goes silent. But you're still you, aware, present. You see your body below. You hear the doctor say, "Time of death, 3:14 p.m." And then a presence, a light, a feeling of unconditional love. Or darkness, confusion, regret? Which one would it be for you? And here's the truth no one wants to admit. We're all going to find out. Death isn't a theory, it's your future. So why live as if it doesn't exist? What if the secret to a good death is a good life? Studies show that people who live with purpose, connection, and forgiveness report peaceful NDS. Those filled with anger, isolation, or fear often describe torment. In Japan, the concept of ikigai, reason for being, correlates with longevity and peace in dying. In Okinawa, elders say, when you know why you wake up, you won't fear lying down forever. Modern palliative care confirms patients with meaning report less pain, less anxiety, and more acceptance. Your final moments may be shaped by how you live today. So I ask you, not as a viewer but as a fellow human, what do you believe happens when we die? Is it the end, a new beginning, a return to source? And if consciousness survives, what does it do next? Does it merge with the cosmos, reincarnate, fade into nothingness? We don't have proof, but we have clues, whispers from the edge. And maybe that's enough. Because if death holds mystery, then life holds meaning. So don't wait for your last breath to start living. Forgive, connect, create, love fiercely. Because how you die begins with how you live. Now tell me in the comments, what do you believe happens when we die? Be honest, this isn't just a video, it's a conversation between souls. If this moved you, hit subscribe. The next episode explores reincarnation through the eyes of children who remember past lives. Because the truth is waiting for you on the other side. Subscribe now for later surprises.